Okay, so I just saw I'm Still Here, which is the Brazilian film that is up for both Best International Feature Film and Best Picture at the Oscars this year. Um, and I'm a little bit rattled by it, if I'm being honest. It is a really beautiful but also devastating portrait of the forced, mass disappearances and mass torture and death that occurred under the Brazilian dictatorship. You know, I won't lie, there were certain scenes in this that almost like gave me an anxiety attack in the theater as a trans person living in America right now. There was also a part towards the end where me and literally everybody in the theater was crying. It's a really intense film, but it's really beautiful and it's really important. And it's probably going to go under the radar for people this kind of Oscar season. So I really highly recommend you seek it out. Um, Aside from just how it affected me emotionally, like it's so beautifully performed. The leads are all great, but there's also quite a few child actors that do a wonderful job. Another thing that I want to say is that while this is a really harrowing and moving tale of tragedy, it's also like a really beautiful and inspirational and realistic look at resistance and um, picking up the pieces after our life has been sort of torn apart by fascist dictatorships. There's really inspirational characters and moments in this, and even though it's scary, it's also very inspirational. I also think it's worth pointing out that this is a film about Brazilian history and about Brazilian trauma made by Brazilians in Brazil and in Portuguese. At a certain point, it just kind of hit me like, I'm so glad I'm watching this, like, in its native language, at least. Like, I think there's a way that an American filmmaker could have shot this in English and it would have been powerful and effective, but there is something more authentic and more moving and more genuine about the fact that it is Brazilians telling their own history in their own language. So yeah, I know that it's probably harder to see as it's an international film, but it is probably your city might be doing like local Best Picture screenings right now. But even if you have to wait for streaming or a Blu-ray from, I think it's Sony Pictures, Sony Pictures Classics, seek this out in any way you can. It is really truly vital stuff, and I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10.